not nervous, I think.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So, welcome back to another interview session with us. And so, we have Somadev with us today who is going to interview for Hexaware. So, we are just going to wait for, let's say, 1 minute. Until then, please let me know in the live section, in the chat section, whether we are clearly visible and audible to all of you. Okay. So let's begin with it. All the 2023 batch people over here, we are going to have another very cool interview session with Somadeep. So let's begin with the introduction. So can you please introduce yourself for the audience?
A very good evening to all. I am Shomodip Hajra, currently pursuing my BTech from Technoman Solek in CSE branch, and I am going to pass out in the batch 2023. And I am from Calcutta, that is from West Bengal, and I have currently been selected in Hexaware Technologies as the role of PGET.
Okay, so congratulations, Somadeep, that you have been placed in Hexaware. So we are just here to know about the entire journey, how you began the preparations, how did you register, what you had to go through to get the offer letter from Hexaware, right? So we are going to discuss everything that you went through the journey into detail. So let's start off with the very first step. Was this an on-campus or an off-campus drive?
It was an on-campus drive. It came to our college during the month of August.
Okay, so you started appearing for this particular drive from the month of August, that is 2022, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so how, like, once you have registered, what did you think? Like, was Hexaware on your list of companies, or was this just a chance that you took because it came to your college?
No, ma'am. Hexaware was definitely one of my target companies because I have like taken the Prepinsta Prime subscription during the month of April. So there I can see the list of companies that mm, and their question patterns. So I always see that the Hexaware got better preference over the
Yeah.
other service-based companies
Hmm.
because like Hexaware is a very good company for the freshers to start with,
Hmm.
and I think
Definitely.
that's the reason I am here.
That's the reason you appeared for Hexaware, and you fortunately got placed as well. All right. So, what
Thank
were
you.
your first step after registering? So, you now have to start preparing. So, did you prepare a schedule, or did you just go according to the flow?
I think during that time we were having like our on-campus drives from the college, so like it was in a flow as well because I have my exams like 2 days before, 2 days after. So it was
Okay.
like not that for Hexaware only, but I was like preparing for 1 to 2 months continuous.
Continuously, you were preparing and you just tried your luck. Let's sit for the exam and
Yes, ma'am.
let's see if you pass or
Yes.
not. All right. So, let's begin with the first round. Can you discuss the first round with us and what were the details about it?
Like the first round was comprised of an aptitude test.
Hmm.
It comprised of both general aptitude and the technical MCQs as well.
Okay.
I don't remember the time limit, but it was like 70 questions for 70 minutes. One question for 1 minute.
Okay.
And it was on two divisions. Like first we have to like cover the general aptitude part, which comprises
Mhm.
of normal quant and general aptitude and English. And
Okay.
after
Okay.
that, another set of 35 questions will come, which will be like comprising of the technical MCQs, like the coding output questions, fixing
Hmm.
automata,
Okay.
and then normal technical questions regarding computer fundamentals here,
Hmm.
then Excel related questions. That's it.
Okay, so your first particular round, which we may call, let's say, aptitude plus technical, because it comprised both of the sections.
Yes,
So it
ma'am.
was combining both the sections, it was 70 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you had questions from general aptitude, let's say logical verbal quants,
Yes, ma'am.
and then
Yes,
you
ma'am.
also had the technical and automata fixed questions.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So for the aptitude part, what would you rate the difficulty level? Like, how difficult was it if you had prepared for, let's say, only 15 days or 20 days?
I think that 15 days, 20 days will be like a tough because we will be like getting only 1 minute for one question and we have to like
Hmm.
very fast. So 15 days preparation, I think it will be like very tough. But
Hmm.
if someone is like preparing for the last 1 month, I think
Hmm.
that it will be not a very big deal to
Yeah,
crack the aptitude
right.
at
So
least.
you did give your preparation some time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sometime is
So,
needed.
so let's talk about the like where did you prepare from? Like what would you suggest our students to prepare from so that they have a good grasp onto the aptitude side. We're not talking about the technical right now, but the aptitude part.
Ma'am, like I said that I took the Prepinsta Prime subscription during
Hmm.
the month of April because I
Okay.
came to know about this website. Then I came
Mm-hmm.
to know about the Prime part. But after taking the Prime subscription, I was like very happy with the things how the things are get sorted in the website.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning I started with the mathematical part and then the logical part, and there are
Mhm.
specific videos and specific topics. After
Hmm.
that, the questions. So I used to take notes after each video,
Okay.
the shortcut, and then
Hmm.
practice questions. For practicing, I use the Prepinsta website only because there are
Hmm.
ample of
More number
questions
of
to practice.
questions. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. But for
Yeah.
the lecture part, I use the Prepinsta Prime subscription videos only.
All right. So you
They are
started
like very good.
preparing from April itself.
Not, ma'am, I took it in the month of April, but due to the semester exams of my
Hmm.
college, I
Hmm.
was like full-fledgedly. I gave time after mid-May. After mid-May, I was like fully committed for this thing.
All right. All right. So you did give your preparation some good 2 months, right? So that
Yes,
you
ma'am.
can appear for the examinations. All right. So this
Yes,
was
ma'am.
the aptitude part. Do you think that there were some important topics in the quant section or in the logic or in the verbal section which repeatedly you got the questions from?
Ma'am, if I say the verbal, if someone is trying for the verbal, I think the antonym synonym part need to be like very fast.
Okay.
There sometimes we face problems in solving the in solving long passages. But
Hmm.
I think if someone has like practice, I think for 1 minute one question is tough, but if we give 2 minutes, I think it will be like done.
Hmm. So you have to manage your
And
time in that way that you
yes,
complete
ma'am.
the shorter questions in 30 seconds and
Yes,
keep
ma'am.
the more time in for the longer ones, right? And
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the aptitude, like for the quant section,
For the quant section, I would like to mention that speed, time, distance,
hmm,
and there was speed, time, distance, and then work and time,
work and time,
and the normal generalized questions
general
there only.
questions, and okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that was the aptitude part. Let's come towards the technical part now. So, how much time do you think that you would have needed to, perfectly prepare for this particular technical part?
I think that the technical part it takes time because
Hmm.
the coding MCQs, because someone cannot like learn coding in 1 month or 2 months. I
Yeah,
think it takes time for the
actually, it's
coding
a process. It's a
for
process.
the output because for the getting the answers of the output for the automata fix,
Hmm.
like 1 minute is like very less time. But if you like give if you practice a lot, I think 2-3 minutes is enough.
Hmm.
But it takes time, but it's
Yeah.
not that easy. I think it's not that easy. It will
It's
take
not
time.
that easy. So we may say that if you don't have a very good knowledge of the coding section, you will have to dedicate some extra time to this section to
Yes,
pass
ma'am.
through it.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
So all of the students who are watching this right now, if you don't have a very strong coding base or technical base, make sure that you're giving much more time, dedicating more time to this particular section because it's not going to be very easy as it may seem so. Right. So this was the entire aptitude section. So we had 70 questions for 70 minutes. Okay, so after this particular round, after how many days did you receive the selection mail?
After ma'am, the exam was conducted on 12th August on 10 in the morning,
Hmm.
and by 12 in the noon, I got the mail for the selection in the communication test, which
On the
was
same day.
taking on the same day, on the
Okay,
same day
so
in
they
the
were
metal
quite
platform.
quick in delivering the
Yes, ma'am.
results.
Yes, ma'am. The
Okay.
first round was like very quick.
And what about the second round? So you receive within 2 hours, let's say, from 10 to
Yes,
12.
ma'am.
You received the
Yes,
selection
ma'am.
mail for the second round. And how was
Yes,
the
ma'am.
second round constructed?
Ma'am, the second round was like communication test, which was taking place in the Metal platform. There are
Okay.
many set of questions. Like if I like to mention, like for sometimes a sentence is like coming into the screen and we need to repeat that sentence.
Okay.
And in the
Speaking,
in
speaking it
the
uses.
yes, yes, ma'am, speaking, and then after that, ma'am, listening abilities, because after that the
Okay.
system will say something into system will say something, and
Mhm.
and we need to like write the summary of what the system has told, and sometimes we also need to
Okay.
like repeat the thing that the system has told
Okay.
us.
So they read out a passage to you, let's say. Is it a passage or is it a sentence, short sentence?
Ma'am, a 2 3 line sentence,
Two,
not
three
a
lines.
passage, but 2 3 line sentence.
Okay, two, three line sentences, and you have to listen to it carefully. And either you have to give a summary of the same or you have to speak it out again.
Ma'am, there are both type of questions as well.
Both type of
There,
questions.
yes, ma'am. And then
Hmm.
at the end there were like 40 to 45 questions on article and normal preposition type questions.
Okay, so you also had grammatical questions. So were
Yes,
these
ma'am.
grammatical questions MCQ based?
MCQ based, MCQ based.
MCQ based. So like they will give you a question and you have to verbally answer it. Is it that?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. The that part I need to like only select the option.
Okay, so you could give your inputs manually.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Ma'am, the exam was like conducted for 30 minutes. It was a long,
30
it was
minutes.
30 minutes. So it was like
Hmm.
not that short.
Hmm. Okay. So did you have to like, do you think that you need a good grammatical knowledge or skill in order to complete this particular round, or you just a general, without preparation, can you sit for this round and clear the round?
No, I think it's like that, like it is a test of language. So I think
Hmm.
it's not that everyone will like to learn in 2 3 weeks, but it's
Hmm.
la but it's actually a process, because like when we were starting preparation,
Hmm.
everyone tends to like not give that importance to the English part, but
Exactly.
sometimes English are
Exactly.
very scoring. So
Hmm.
if someone is good in English, that is like very bread and butter
Yeah, it's a bread
for
and
him.
butter for the people with good fluency. But I think it is roses and thorns for the people who don't have good knowledge. And do you think that they can improve by preparing or no?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, because language preparation is like not that tough, because if we
Hmm.
like start because if we start studying our books or like listening to English news, I think
Hmm.
because we at the end we need some vocabulary to be get
Hmm.
into our brain so that we can use
Exactly.
the correct word in the correct
Yeah. So that's
place.
a good point that you said that if you want to improve your fluency or vocabulary or let's say like the language altogether, just try to listen to English podcasts or English news or just read some articles in English that it gives you a good vocabulary, right? It expands your knowledge into this language. So yes, that's a good tip for all of the students watching this particular interview, that for the communication assessment, make sure that you are like putting some effort into learning this language as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when did you get the mail that you were selected after the second round, the communication round?
After the second round, there was a long gap of 2 weeks. I
Okay.
don't know why, but there was a gap. So after 2 weeks, in the last week of August, I got the mail for the selection of that you are selected for the technical interview.
Interview.
And my college also informed me, because they first send the list to college, and
Hmm.
then the college forwarded to the students. And I also got the interview link 2 days
All
before
right.
the interview.
So, Somadeep, well, like after how many days did you have the communication round after the first round?
And the communication on the same day only.
Okay, so you had your aptitude exam, you had the results on the same day, and then you had the communication assessment on the same day again. So you must have had a tiring day that day.
Yes, ma'am, because as I mentioned, because the exam was on 10 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the selection mail for the communication by 12, and
At
the
12.
exam was started from 3 in the afternoon.
Okay. Okay. So you had some rest time
Yes,
in
ma'am.
between.
Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am. In the gap, but it was like a tiring day.
Yeah, obviously you are giving your examinations, it gets tired, it works your
Yes,
brain
ma'am.
completely. Okay, so after 2 weeks of the communication assessment, you get a selection mail that you have been selected or shortlisted for the technical interview. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what were you doing within the 2 weeks? Were you applying for other companies or were you very nervous whether you'll be selected or not? Like, what was going
Ma'am,
on?
Because communication test, I thought that I did well. So I started preparing for the technical interviews.
All right. So you had the
I start.
confidence that you will be selected and you started preparing.
Yes, ma'am. Because at that time I told ki the on-campus drives were going on, so like many opportunities were coming. So I like cannot go anything
Yeah.
from my hand.
Okay. So let's talk about your interview preparation. So how did you prepare for the interview? What were the things that you paid more attention to?
Because I am from a CSE background, so I gave my first preference to the coding part
Hmm.
and coding, and then I gave my preference to the DBMS part
Hmm.
because I think DBMS is not that tough,
Hmm.
but with some time, if you give it a practice, I think it's like good.
Hmm.
After that, I learned the DSA part,
Hmm.
the the normal DSA part that we all need in the service-based companies,
Hmm.
and then a little bit of networking, computer networking.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we definitely need to know the computer fundamentals because we cannot like prepare for the fundamental, but we need to have a clear idea because we are having in our college for the last 3 years. So
Yeah.
I think that's not a
So,
that's the
yeah.
centric preparation.
So you concentrated on all of the major technical parts
Yes,
that
ma'am.
are needed in the CSE background,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So let's like if you can, let's rank DSA, DBMS. Like how would you rank the importance for preparation?
Ma'am, I think DSA is important because in
Hmm.
the coding sections of the companies,
Hmm.
normal coding question also sometimes require DSA aptitude. So
Yes.
DSA is important for the
Okay. I think there is a technical glitch from Somati's end. I think he got stuck somehow. Okay, Somadip, are you there? Are you listening?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
think we got connected. So, sorry, ma'am.
No, it's completely fine. I think you got stuck somewhere. Okay, so let's talk about we were talking about the importances of the topics in
Yes,
computer
ma'am.
fundamentals. So let's start off with DSA is the top most important.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
DS is the topmost. Ma'am, after that,
Mm.
DBMS.
And then
Because
DBMS.
DB. And after that, it is according to the students that they like
Hmm.
choice.
Remaining
Some,
topics.
uh,
Okay, so again, everyone who is watching this particular interview, make sure that you are getting your DSA and DBMS along with other computer fundamentals and networking and everything in place when you're sitting for the technical interview, right? So let's talk about a technical interview day. How was it? How did it start? What were the questions?
ma'am, like the technical interview, ma'am, it was in the second half. So it was also done in the Superset platform.
Okay,
The
super
technical
satisfied.
inter Yes,
Hmm.
ma'am. The technical round was started during 2 p.m. 2 p.m. as far as I able to remember 2 p.m.
Okay.
From in the beginning, it was us, ma'am. In the beginning, they asked me to introduce about myself,
Hmm.
and they asked me about like where I am from and why, and then generalized questions like why have you like applied for this tribe,
Okay.
and after that they've completely focused on the resume, that the things I have done mentioned in my resume.
Okay. Resume. Hmm.
These, yes, ma'am, there I have like mentioned Java, then OOPS concept, and then
Hmm.
DBMS,
Hmm.
DSA. From and after that, the directly the questions from these topics were like asked.
Okay. So whatever you had in your resume, those topics were asked to you,
Yes,
right?
ma'am, because
And did you
if
have,
someone,
hmm, please continue.
ma'am, because if someone is like mentioning something in the resume, I think
Hmm.
that's the strongest part, man. Because
Hmm.
you can't say no if something is there in your
There
resume.
in your resume. So you have to be completely honest while writing the resume that whatever you're writing, you know about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So only to look cool and look smart, don't add on anything extra.
Yes, ma'am. And sometimes, like, if someone has done something, certifications,
Yeah.
like they can also give a little edge over the other students
Mhm.
because in the modern day we need to have latest technology knowledges
Yeah,
like AI, ML, cloud,
definitely.
and those
Definitely.
things.
So do you have any certifications? Did you put
Yes,
any?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have machine learning and cloud certifications.
Okay, so you think that people with certifications or internships or like life projects, they will be giving more preference than the students who do not have those.
Yes, ma'am, definitely, because from the project, like you can show the company that you have already worked on a project, worked in a team. So
Hmm.
like it also gives a image about yourself, about how you can cope up with
Yeah.
different people.
Definitely. So this is coming for all of these students as well. That if you're looking for any certifications or let's say internship or anything, you can definitely check out the Prime website as well, because we are providing nano degree certifications and TCS Ion Rio internship certifications as well. So if you are interested, and because Somadeep has already appeared for an interview and he like speaks for itself that you have to have certifications and internships or added skills to your resume, which can bring out or shine out a resume out of the others. Okay, so that goes the certifications, and let's talk about the projects. Did you have any projects, and did they ask about the projects?
Yes, ma'am. At that time, I have one project during the month of August. I have like one project. It was
Hmm.
like a website, building a website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Okay.
They asked me about general questions like why have you done this project and what are the
Hmm.
future aspects. It was a
Hmm.
general question,
General questions about the
not a
project.
technical part.
Hmm. Okay.
But they
So
like the things that if the students have project.
yeah, definitely. So that like there goes the list of the like important skills, important certifications, projects, and honest knowledge about the background that you're from. Right, so these are the very important things that you need to have in a resume, and if you're including all of those, your chances of being hired increases more than the students who do not have these. Right, so all of you who is watching this, make sure that you have a lot of things in your resume which is honest, firstly, and secondly, suits the job roles as well. Right. So this was a complete technical interview, and how long did it go for?
It goes for 25 minutes, and the sir also asked me to write a code about by sharing my screen, and I'll
Okay.
also ask some SQL commands to write about the
Mm-hmm.
joins.
Okay, so you also had to write codes on your
Yes,
interview
ma'am,
and
one code. Yes,
SQL.
ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am, one
Okay,
code and
so
SQL commands.
all right, so you think that again you need to have good knowledge. So which language did you choose? Was there anything specified?
No, ma'am, not specified by the company, but I chose Java
You
because
chose Java. Hmm.
I was practicing Java for a long time, so I
Hmm.
chose Java and I know Java. So that's it.
Okay, okay. All right. So after this particular technical interview, how long did it take for you to move towards the second round, which may be the HR interview?
Yes, ma'am. After ma'am, because during ma'am, when the company came to our college, it was a four LPA because it came with the graduate engineer training role.
Okay.
After that, after technical interview, my HR call was like after 2 days only. My HR call came. I was like very confident the HR would come.
Hmm.
And in the HR round, she asked about general question like why Hexaware and inform me about the package and the locations, about normal things.
Okay, so you do not have very excruciating HR rounds where they ask you very difficult questions about your strengths, weaknesses, location, nothing. It was just
Uh, yes, ma'am. I would like rate it a basic HR interview.
a basic HR interview, and you did fairly well over there because it was more about the information. All right, so
Yes, ma'am.
before the HR interview, do you think in some way that you need to research about a company when you're sitting for an interview?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Definitely because I was asked about why Hexaware, and
Hmm.
if we like give a very superficiating answer and the
Hmm.
answer that we are like making in our
Hmm.
mind, it will not work
Yeah, it will
because
not work.
you need to give facts about the company
Yeah.
in the
So
interview.
researching about the company before the interview is again very crucial. Right. So again, all of the students who are watching this, make sure that whichever company is sitting for, not just Hexaware, if you're sitting for Deloitte or any other company, make sure that you are doing a good research about the job role first, and second role are the milestones of the company. So it gives you facts to include in your answers, and which seems original,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Okay, so this was your HR round. So after the technical round, how many days did it take to send you the mail about the HR round?
After 2 days only. After two days
After two
only,
days
like
only, you got the mail. Hmm.
ma'am,
And
ma'am, it was for the GT purpose. Ma'am, after the HR round, ma'am, you may continue. You say.
no, no, it's okay. You can continue. It was for the GET role. Hmm.
Yes, ma'am. And after it was like done by the month of September, first week
Hmm.
only, that
Mm-hmm.
I got placed in the GT role.
Okay.
And Yes, ma'am. And during and the mail that was like shared by the college, it was like mentioned that some of the students will like get the chance to upgrade their offer to the PGET
Mm-hmm.
role.
Mm-hmm.
And after a gap of 3 months, I think in the month of November first week, I
Hmm.
got the mail of the coding test.
Okay, so after the HR round, you were placed in the GET
Yes, ma'am.
offer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, but again, you had to go through another test, a coding test after 3 months,
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it actually depends, but my test came around the month of November, first week,
month
second
of
week.
November. All right. So there you had to give a coding test only to upgrade to the PGAT role.
Yes, ma'am. Coding. Then after the coding, a normal managerial interview round, and then
Okay.
after
So
the
let's talk
upgraded
about the
offer.
coding round quickly because I think the students will be interested in knowing how to upgrade from GET to PGET.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So let's talk
Ma'am,
about the
the
coding round. Hmm.
the coding round was comprised of two questions. One was like very easy, very basic question. Like
Hmm.
if we solve the preparation of top 100 question, it will be like done in
All right. So
five
you
minutes,
did
six
go through
minutes.
the top 100 codes
Yes,
page
ma'am.
as
They
well.
help a
So again,
lot.
yeah, another heads up for the students here as well that when you are sitting for any coding section and if you are very confused where to prepare from, go search for top 100 codes and you are going to get a page filled with codes in like all of the various languages. So you can prepare questions from there and it becomes very easy to brush your coding skills specifically. So make sure that you look up for top 100 codes whenever you're preparing for coding. Right. So you did that top 100 questions for the first question and it seemed very easy.
Yes, ma'am. I was like, as I told that I took the course in the month of April. So
Hmm.
by that time, it was like a very
Yeah,
easy
so you
thing for me.
had went through the entire preparation material and you had prepped yourself up
Yes,
completely.
ma'am. Yes,
Hmm.
ma'am.
And the
And
second,
on the second question, I was based on dynamic programming.
hmm.
It was on the substring part question. It
Okay.
was not that easy because initially I was like facing some errors and some test cases were not passing. But
Hmm.
after some time, I was
You
like
passed it.
I
Hmm.
yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
So how long
It
was that
was
test for?
I think for two question it was 40 minutes. Two
40
question
minutes for
40
two
minutes.
questions. And like, did it, have divided the timing at 20 to 20 minutes or it was all over 40 minutes and you can solve
Um, from all over 40 minutes. If
all
someone
over
like
40
to
minutes?
solve the for hard question first and then the easy
Mm-hmm.
and the vice versa as
Okay.
well.
Vice versa. Okay, perfect. So you gave this particular test, and again, after like, what would you rate? Was it a medium difficulty or was it very tough? If you
I
had,
think
if you had not prepared for let's say 15 days or 1 month,
if someone is like preparing for 1 month, I think it would be easy. I think it would be tough for the second question. The
for
first
the
question will
second
be
one.
done, but the second question it requires a dynamic programming approach,
Hmm.
so it will be
Okay.
tough.
So you have to at least give it again some dedicated time, 1.5 to
Yes,
two
ma'am.
months, to get to the core and understand the question. Right. So
Yes, ma'am.
please make sure all of you, whoever is watching this, please you're giving time for preparation. Don't just get up one day and just sit for the examination. Give it some time, dedicate um, proper discipline, and you will crack it. Right. Okay. So that was an entire coding section, and then you get the mail for the managerial interview.
Yes, ma'am. The managerial come HR interview.
Mm-hmm. And let's get into the details of the same.
Ma'am, it was after the coding test, after a span of 1 month, I got the mail of the HR interview.
Okay. So after the coding test, it took another 1 month
Yes, ma'am.
to for the
Another one for the interview. I mean,
okay.
the interview, the interview, it was a long session, ma'am. If I compare it to the earlier HR interview,
Hmm.
it was longer than that. It was around 20 to 25 minutes HR round.
Okay, and what questions did they ask you?
First, ask me about introduce yourself and like if I have any location preference, and then ask me about why Hexaware, like why should we join you?
Mm-hmm.
General questions, and at the end, I was asked like if I being the manager, what are the steps that I would like to change in the company,
Mm-hmm.
and normal HR questions that we like find in the internet. But
Okay. And
uh,
where did you
but
like did you put on any extra effort to prepare for the HR interview or was it just came from your end naturally?
it generally came from my end because like if someone has the good communication skill, I think he or she can like.
Hmm.
at least handle the HR interview, and
HR.
at least have the clear knowledge about the company.
Hmm.
Because if they say random facts, the HR doesn't like this thing.
HR. Yeah, definitely. So you have to get your facts right. Definitely.
Yes, ma'am.
So that was your complete, very stressful journey from having no placements to GT role and then the PGT role.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
After
ma'am.
how many days did you get the final mail that you have been selected?
Now, after 2 weeks, I like my college also came to know about the thing from the company, and company also so sent me the mail about the
After
confirmation.
2 more weeks. So let's say end of November.
Uh, no, ma'am, not end of November, but
Mhm.
last week of December, I think. Last week of December, because there
Okay.
was a span of 1 month between the
One
coding
month
and the
gap
interview.
between the coding and the interview. Yeah. Apologies for that. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so you have to towards the end of December, you have a great news for the New Year's that you have been placed in the PGT role. That
Yes,
must
ma'am.
have made you very happy.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
6 LPA package. Like I was also very happy. With the
Yeah.
four also, I was like happy but not satisfied. But with six, like
Now
it's
you're
like
satisfied?
feeling. I'm not satisfied, but it's like feeling good.
You feeling good? So
Yes, ma'am.
you still want to switch up and still want to prepare for more companies and get a higher package. That should be your
Um,
aim
yes,
somehow.
ma'am. I would. Yes, ma'am. I would
Yeah,
definitely try for better.
definitely. You should never stop at one stop. Right. So that was a complete journey, and I've seen that you have worked very hard from the month of August till the end of December. Right.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it has been a very tiring and a very hard working journey. So like you must have got some experience from this journey, right? So can you give our students three tips from this entire journey on what they can adapt to and get placed in good companies?
Ma'am, I think that we need to start preparing early, because if we like
Hmm.
start the race late, we are like miles behind from the
Right.
students
Behind you.
who
Hmm.
are who are good in coding.
Hmm.
Because I'm not saying that everyone is good in coding, but with practice, everyone can achieve that thing.
Hmm.
And
Second.
like practice the aptitude, matlab, give some time to the aptitude questions,
Hmm.
because they are not easy. Sometimes some people say that they are easy,
Hmm.
but with no practice you cannot solve them fast. And
Okay.
because time is a very crucial factor in these competitive exams.
Yeah.
And after that the and after the no and in the most important part in the technical interview, I think like you have to be very honest with the things you're writing in the resume.
Resume. Yeah.
And also like to give tips about learn DS and DBMS well, so
Hmm.
that because they are very important.
Very important. Right. So very great
DBMS.
tips coming from you, Somati. First is start early, start preparing early because you never know when you have to sit for the exam and then you will fall short of time. Second is give your aptitude sometimes. So this is for all of the audiences who are watching this. Give your aptitude sometimes. Start preparing early. And lastly, be honest in your resume and practice DSA and DBMS because they hold a very important place in your interviews and your entire selection journey, right? So these are the pro tips coming from Somati for all of us audiences. So if you have any other question, please drop them down the live chat and we'll ask directly to Somati and get his answers on the same as well. Until then, we have a question from Gaurav ma'am. Can he share resume so we can get how he made? All right. So do you have any resume tips for the students? In the meanwhile, how did you make your resume? What did you include in your resume?
Like in the skills part, it's like a very honest, like if you are good in coding, like one coding language, two coding language, you need to definitely mention. You
Hmm.
definitely need to mention the computer fundamental subjects that you are good in, like DBMS. Uh, Sometimes some students mention DSA as well, but
Hmm.
but not everyone is good in DSA. So like
Yeah.
they can mention OS. OS is a thing that you can like very very similar type of questions are asked from OS, like deadlock and all of
Okay.
those. And certifications are a little important. At
Hmm.
least two
So you, yeah.
certifications you need.
So you say that skills and certifications are very important, and like those constitute the main part of your resume, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I
And
know
then
for
the normal achievement part in the that you have
yeah.
achieved in your college life, school life.
Hmm. So if you are willing to share your resume with the people, you can connect with them on LinkedIn. and somehow you can just get your resume shared with others if you are willing to. They would love to have your resume as a sample. Um, so there's a question: after how many days do you receive the mail for the HR round, after the technical round?
Ma'am, after the first technical round during the GET, I got it
Mhm.
after 2, 3 days. 2, 3 days.
After 2 3 days, and after the coding round you got after a month,
Yes, ma'am, after a month.
right? Okay, so that is your answer. All right, so I think those were all of the questions that our students have regarding your journey and regarding this particular interview. So if you have any other query, make sure that you're reaching us out on our social media handles and we'll be helping you out there. Also, we have the number dropped in the section, live section as well. So if you want to connect with us over a phone call, you can use the number given below and you can connect with us also. So thank you so much, Somadi, for joining us today and sharing your precious journey details with us. I hope the students must have found it helpful somehow, and they are going to use your experience into theirs and get placed in their dream companies. So,
Yes, ma'am, thank you for
and
giving me the opportunity as
yeah,
well.
and we also feel very obliged that Prep Insta Prime could help you to get placed and
Yes,
be a
ma'am.
part of the preparation journey. So we are obliged and we thank you so much. So we are going to wrap up this particular interview session today. And until then, make sure that you are subscribing to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell as well, so you know that we are coming live whenever and like we usually come very frequently. Okay, so thank you so much. We are going to wrap up this session and we can end our live over here as well.